Hey friends, on today's episode, I have chair number 6, and the chair is Evermore. These are my Taylor Swift inspired chairs. So stay tuned to see how I did it. You might remember last December, I released the Folklore chair, and it's a really great Fobo chair. And I thought I was going to do the Evermore chair, which is really the sister album, using the same chair frame. But I happened to find this amazing Victorian chair, and when I got it just a few weeks ago, I totally changed plans and decided this was going to be my Evermore chair. And even though Evermore is the sister album, kind of is known as that, as to the Folklore album, they were both released in 2020 during the pandemic, and this was her second one. I thought even though they're sister chairs, I'm going to do a different chair. And so, that's the great thing about creativity is you can change your mind. And it was a absolutely beautiful frame of a chair. And so you see me here stripping it all down, getting it all ready. I decided I would do something a little interesting on the backside. And I would sand off the finish. And so that's really what I did is I really worked only on the back to sand off the finish. I was going to leave the finish on the front. It's aged and scratched in a few little places, but it's still really gorgeous. And the backside is just a nice little surprise. Now, I used the same embroidery fabric as I had on Folklore, except it had a different, darker background. So it's the exact same fabric, a black background instead of a white background, and I just knew it was gonna look gorgeous with this really dark mahogany frame. So, the first thing I had to do was put it in the inside of the chair frame and, trim around it. I had to make it really tight. I wanted to make it really beautiful. You see it see-through, so I have to put another fabric on top of it to make it work, but it was really looking amazing, and it has a darker tone even though it's the same embroidery as the Folklore, which is a little more lighter, a little more summery, uh, in vibe. This one needed to be more fall, more winter-like, and, the songs are definitely darker on this album, I think anyway, as opposed to a lot of her other albums, and Folklore was kinda similar in as well, but this one seems even darker. So I went ahead and went for a dark purple velvet. I had thought about going with orange, but I really felt purple was gonna look more beautiful with this frame, and it kinda gave me the fall-like. So I covered it all in velvet first, and then I applied the embroidery all over the top, and I decided to do a different kind of layout of the velvet. On the top of that velvet, it's kinda sparse, and you see that on my Folklore chair, but on this one, I am really choosing to go for it with a lot of the flowers where it's very, very busy. And so you really have to pull it tight to make sure there's no wrinkles in the tulle. But it really is, was at this point turning out really beautiful to me. So a lot of the times I don't know exactly how I'm going to design, and I didn't know what I was going to do for the trim, but I picked this really cool tape trim and glued it around the edge. Now, the flowers didn't match exactly, so here you see me cutting out the flowers from the embroidery and gluing them on here and there. I just needed to cover the staples, and this is how it turned out. I could not be happier with this. I even considered putting the embroidery on the seat, but I decided it was going to be a little too much. So I decided to keep the purple velvet on the seat and only put it on the top and the backside and then around as the trim, because to me that's what looked better. You can see how great this looks with the backside being sanded. It was just really, really pretty, and it was really fun to kind of place these flowers and figure out how they were going to look on the front and the back. And then that purple velvet looked so great with the dark mahogany trim. I just thought it was really nice. And if you can see close enough, that mahogany trim does kind of fade as you go down on the chair, and it's just done that in age. So this is the Evermore chair. I feel like it embodies the darker side of this album. There's songs about marriage, love, infidelity, and grief that was really first introduced in the Folklore album. Well, she carries it through to this one, and I feel like this is the perfect embodiment of the Evermore album.
Now, if you loved that makeover of that chair, I have got a free download for you. I'm going to put the link down below to the page. You just scroll down and you see the Evermore chair. And also be sure to check out my Easter egg message that is on the page, because you're going to see something and I have a little secret message coming to you. I have a blog on this as well. You can check out that link below. As usual, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do so. And I will see you next time, friends. I've got 4 chairs to go. Bye-bye.